it's Aliciaamonet and I am back with another video. And today's gonna be a little different because this video right here is for my educators. All my educators out there, but specifically for Fort Valley State University. So stay tuned. After the intro, we're gonna get into it. So I know y'all ain't heard from me in a while, but I've been doing great. And like they say, I gotta put me first. But today, I'm gonna put y'all first. I'm gonna give y'all a video. I have my little notes right here of what I wanna talk about and what I wanna get into. And specifically, like I said before, Fort Valley State University, this is for the educators out there who are looking to be in the program at Fort Valley State University, for the educators. And if you're already here and you're trying to get into the program, or you're like in high school and you want to know what the requirements are to be in the program at Fort Valley State University. So let's get into it. Okay. So the first thing I wanted to talk about is GACE. First things first, let's talk about, because y'all, it's like 10 things on here. So I'm gonna try to make it as seamless as possible because I was just writing my ideas as they came. And some of these tying together, so it's 10 things on my list, but it might be like 5 because some of them go together. But let's start with number 1, which is GACE. To be in the education program, you have to take the GACE. And before I tell you what the GACE is, the first 2 years that you're here at, any college, or college, you're going to take your core classes, which consist of math, biology, those kind of classes. And then your junior year and your senior year, that's when you get into your real major, and that's when you start taking classes that pertain to what you came to school to do. So like I said before, let's go back to number 1, okay, which is GACE. So when you get into the program, or before you even get into the program, you have to take a GACE class. So you might be wondering, what's GACE? What's GACE? What's GACE? GACE is a form of an assessment. It's an assessment that you have to take to basically qualify to be in these classes and be qualified to, how can I put this, teach kids. So it's basic knowledge. So GACE contains math, reading, and writing. So for this specific class that I'm talking about, you have to take at least 1 GACE to pass the class, period. So before you even get into the program, you're going to take a GACE class, and you have to take one part of GACE. It could be math, it could be reading, it could be writing. Whichever you choose, you can take it. So what I will say is, let's check that off as we go. You have to take 1 to pass the class. I've already mentioned that. And also, let's look. Back to what I was saying. Attention, attention, all high schoolers. This is for you. All my freshmen in college, this is for you. So make sure you're listening very closely. So remember, I was mentioning GACE because I had a brain fart. GACE. You have to, of course you have to pass. But to bypass taking the GACE, the 3-part GACE that I was saying, math, reading, writing, to bypass that, you have to make sure your SAT scores and ACT scores are good. I can't remember the requirements, but if I find them, I'll put them here or here if I find them. If not, make sure you do your research. But you do have to have a good score on those tests to bypass that class. So that's just something for your knowledge. So make sure that you're looking into the requirements. Ow, y'all saw that? Anyways, let's move on. Let's go to your schedules. So when you come to college, you're gonna have an advisor. So for freshman year, I believe for freshman year and sophomore year, your advisor is going to be completely different from your junior and senior advisor. So listen to me, hear me clearly. When you get to Fort Valley State University, specifically this school, So when you get here, go straight to the education building. Go straight to the education building. I'm telling you, what are we gonna do? Go straight to the education building. I know. You're probably like, why can't I just keep that advisor and this advisor? What you should do, go to the education building and get your schedule made, because those are the people who are going to know your schedule from top to bottom, what you need to take, what you don't need to take. That's not required for you to have to graduate. So I'm telling you, make sure you go there and not to your first advisor, because sometimes I know it can be a little tricky, and your first advisor is, she's going to have, or he's going to have, over 200 students to advise. I kid you not. So just make sure that when you are getting your schedule made, that you find out who can make your schedule in the education building. I'm gonna stress, I can't stress it enough. I cannot. Just bear with me. Also, what should we do? Get your schedule made. Also, ask questions, y'all. I know it may seem like, oh, I don't want to bother them, or oh, I don't want to, be a burden, but no. Ask as many questions as you can, because this is going to be something that you're going to do for the rest of your life, is be an educator. So you need to find out if this is what you really want, this is what you really want to do, and just make sure that you ask a lot of questions. And also, there's going to be a lot of people in your classes who are going to have the same questions, who may be afraid to speak up. So just make sure you ask your questions for yourself, so you're not like, oh, I really don't know what to do. Like, just ask questions. And also, you can ask me questions. There's a lot of people in this major right now who will love to mentor you and, just help you. I had a brain fart. But yes, do not be afraid to ask questions, because we are here to help. So just ask them, y'all. Also, back to GACE. So I'm jumping around, but it's gonna make sense. So when you take your GACE, there are many websites that you can use to enhance your knowledge. That way, when you prepare for the test, you can ace it. And let me tell you why, or let me tell you how first. So some sites like Khan Academy, if you pull up Khan Academy and you make your account or whatever you decide to do, it's under Praxis, Praxis, or something like that. It's under Praxis, and it's going to give you, like GACE, math, reading, and writing comprehension test. It's going to give you math test, all the above. And it's going to give you the whole practice test, not the real practice test, but not the real test, but it's going to give you a real standardized practice test. And it's going to have the same amount of questions that you were to take on the real GACE on this one. And that's 3 different subjects, y'all. Just go study. It's real in-depth knowledge that you should be able to use. We also use Longdale's Pub. I believe that's the website name. And also it has math, reading, and writing. There's 4 practice tests under each module. So make sure you guys are prepared, or make sure you guys start looking into it, because when you get in these classes, that's what you're gonna have to use. And also, let's talk about scholarships. Now, all this I'm talking about is before you get into the program. But scholarships, let's hit on that real quick. Make sure you guys are filling out scholarships. There's actually a scholarship that they offer in the education building when you get into the program. From what I heard, when you get into the program, it's called Endowment Scholarship. So make sure you guys look that up, because they do offer $2,500. Of course, split in half. So the first half will go to your fall, the second half will go to your spring. But make sure you guys are looking up scholarships. Also, off topic, Thurgood Marshall has a bunch of scholarships for educators. So make sure you guys are going to look at that. I'm putting y'all down, y'all. I'm putting you down. I'm trying to help. And also, what I wanted to talk about was, regardless of when you get into the program or who you're with now, make sure you find people in your major. I know it's okay to have friends outside of your major, but make sure you find friends and people you can talk to within your major. And let me tell you why. it's going to be a great help. You guys can study together. You guys can talk about, you know, your major and what you plan to do with it. Just find people who can relate to what you're doing in this moment, because education is for life. Educators are like gonna be around you for life. So make sure you're keeping in touch with them. Just make sure you're, because that's gonna be somebody you can always talk to and count on and depend on, because you guys are in the same field. You guys can help each other out. There's more I want to say right now, but my mind is going blank, y'all. But yes, find people in your major, because y'all are going to be the ones to graduate together. Y'all are going to be the ones to do all these great things together. Just make sure that you find them, stick with them, help each other. Because what you lack in, they can help you, and what they lack in, you can help them, you know. So that's always great. Oh, one big thing. When you get into the program, so now we're talking about when you get into the program. When you get into the program, you cannot, I mean, don't even think about it. You cannot make less than a C. You cannot make less than a C. And I know times are hard right now, COVID and all these different things going on, but make sure you make sure you stay on top of your studies. Talk to your advisors, because those will be the ones to help you when you fall short. So if you have, like, not a complaint, but if you have a dire need to tell them something, tell them, because they will work with you. Don't feel like, no, don't feel like that. Just feel like, because those are the people you can depend on, and those are the people that will help you for real. I've had my days, but they will help you. So do not be afraid. Like I said, do not be afraid to speak up, ask questions, and don't be afraid to tell them what you need to tell them. Also, if you haven't started waking up early, let me tell you, when you get into the program, we have things called placements, and those are where you go to the middle school or the elementary school, depending on what you came to school to do. Like, I'm an early childhood special education major, so when I get placed, I'll get placed in the elementary school. As far as somebody who is middle grades, they'll get placed in a middle school. You get where I'm coming from? Right. So be prepared, because you will be placed in a school system with real kids. No class time. This is like for real. You will be placed in this elementary school, and you will be required to go. So for my first placement, I was required to go every Tuesday and Thursday. So be ready to wake up early, because I was up at 6:15, trying to make it to school by 7:45. 30 minutes away, 20 minutes away, 25 minutes away. So be prepared to wake up early and get the job done. Be prepared, y'all. And like I was saying, I know this all over the place, but like I was saying, placement, that's when you're placed in the real school. And then it goes to like direct teaching, but I'm not in direct teaching yet. I'm actually in my practicums now, which is where you are required to go every single day except Monday. But I just said not Monday. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, you are required to go to the school, be there at 7:45 and leave at 11:45. So you're pretty much there for 4 hours a day. You make lesson plans. You're gonna make, y'all have to be prepared. Just make sure, like I said before, ask questions if you need help. Just do not be afraid to speak up. Also, just reach out if you have anything to say. I know this video is kind of all over the place, but I just really wanted to come with some tips, I should say. Some tips. I will have a part 2 maybe that's more in depth, but these are some tips that you should know before you get into the program and you decide that you want to be in this major. Or, you know, if you're in high school and you're like, I really don't know what I want to do, this is the video for you. Some tips if you are already, oh my gosh, y'all, I forgot to tell y'all. The last thing I want to say is your GACE. When you take your GACE, you are required to make a 250. That is the passing score, 250. So Math has to be 250. Reading has to be 250. Writing has to be 250. And all of those scores together, if I'm not mistaken, is 750. I think all those scores together will make a 750. My math is bad, y'all. But 750. So if that means, oh, and the composite score, I lied. The composite score has to be a 750 now. They've changed it around, saying the composite score has to be a 750. So you can make, let's say, now remember, the passing score is a 250 on each one. But let's say, now that the composite score is 750, let's say you have a 230 on reading. Now let me do my math. A 230 on reading. You got a 250 on math. And you got a 263 on writing. I can't remember which ones I stated. But say your scores came out to be 230, 250, 263. Even though you didn't pass like with the minimum of 250 when you got a 230, it doesn't matter because everything has to equal up to a 750. So if everything, all of those three scores equal to a 750, you can be admitted into the program. So that's a good tidbit of information that you should know. Y'all don't mind me, I'm not matching. But that doesn't matter. It's not about me, it's about you guys. So those are some tips that I believe will help you. So thank you guys for watching, and I hope you guys are doing great because I'm doing good. And I hope you guys had a good new year. Happy New Year's, or Happy New Year, because yeah, anyways,